What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. And if you couldn't tell by those two enormous front fucking teeth, that, of course, is my sidekick, always watching my back, the always silent but never quiet Freddie Mercury Puppet. This is another kick-ass episode of Pod Scum, but of course, they've all been kick-ass, so there's no disputing that. As I said, am your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. This is the part of the show where I quickly call it time out and give myself a look just to admire the view. Oh, God. Seems to get better with time. And when I need a little help, kids, you know how I do. It's a brand new year, but it's the same old product. Get it, love it, use it. Forget about looking this good because we all know rockstar genetics always come out on top. There's nothing you can do, but you can spray a little bit of that stuff around and take your game up levels. And life is all about levels, kids, as we all know. Tonight, another kick-ass episode. Before my guest gets in here, let me do the obligatory promotional bullshit because you got to do it nowadays. You can like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook for updates on new episodes. My guest is here. We'll go into promo at the end of the show. Let's get down to it and chop it up, man. Let's get down to it. Enough's enough. TRACEY!
Hey, how's it going?
I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this, man. It's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, I lost your camera there for a minute, though.
Hold on.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Hey, TRACEY, I usually like to start these things off, man, by kind of getting a backstory on you a little bit, man. Was there a specific album or an artist or maybe even a song that really got its hooks in you early on and made you want to do music?
Yeah, and pretty much anything by Jimi Hendrix for the most part.
Amen.
Wasn't for Jimmy, I wouldn't be sitting here now, you know?
Yeah, that's high praise. Well, for people that might not know, you also had a great relationship with another amazing guitar player, Eddie Hazel.
Yes,
the late
he was
great
my best friend. Yes.
Man, what a guitar
He would
player.
be the next guy. He'd be the next guy, I would say.
Yeah. So would you say, is it safe to say probably, though, that those guys have had the most influence on you as a guitar player?
In the beginning, yes. But as time went on, there was so many more influences too, you know? But yeah, those were the two initial guys, like, along with like Freddie Stone from Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah. And so you have just recently re-entered the fold in Fishbone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And now why the hiatus? Because you were there 97 to 2003, and then for quite a long time. I mean, you maybe fill people in on that, what was it, like a 20-plus year gap, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was, man. Well, just some different things going on with the band, you know, and not agreeing on certain things. And then I just had to get out of there. And then I ended up teaching kids music for 20 plus years with my newly fiance, Lisa Marie.
Awesome.
So, and her and I also have a band together called Praise the Dead that you could look up on Facebook and all that stuff.
I have,
and, Yes, very awesome vocalist, drummer extraordinaire. And that's what I was doing. We were putting that music together and all these other music projects, because I have so many music projects that I'm doing, as well as a Sound Barrier box set in the works that's coming, and another secret project that I'll reveal soon.
Okay.
But that's going to be the working title of it is LSD. I'll just leave it at that, you know.
And so you're the kind of guy who, you know, I talk to so many musicians on here. There's often guys who just have a singular focus on one project at a time. You sound like you're a guy that likes to be busy and have your hand in a lot of different projects.
Yeah, well, nowadays it's like it's a good way to make the ends meet a little easier and just be able to do things with your friends that you couldn't do in the past, because we were so. You know, back then it was like every man for himself, you know?
Yep.
And now it's like we're like a big family. So, you know, I've been just doing a lot of kind of like I look at myself now as like a journeyman guitarist, you know, like once Sound Barrier broke up initially, when we first broke up back in the day, I just said, you know, it'd be better for me to try to play with as many people as possible. You know what I mean? And the great thing, I've been blessed enough to be able to play with people that I admired, that I used to have posters of on my wall when I was growing up as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one project I'm doing right now is with one of my superhero bass players I grew up listening to, Tony Newton.
Okay.
who also played with Alan Holdsworth in Tony Newton New Lifetime, and he played with Gary Moore in the band G-Force. So I'm in awe that he feels like I'm good enough to play with him, because he's one of my heroes. I've been listening to him for years, even before I knew I was listening to him, because he's on a lot of early Motown music.
Yeah. And for people that might not know, like when you bring up Sound Barrier, a band that you founded, man, they were the first all black metal band signed to a major.
Yes, sir.
So that kind of kicked down the doors for a lot of other bands. I think of bands like A Living Color or something like that. Other bands that came along. You guys were innovators, groundbreakers.
Yeah, I mean, at the time we didn't really know that, but once we realized we were doing it, and it became a whole nother ball game. And the cool thing about it is now, like I was saying, back then it was every man for himself, but now we're like a big family. Like pretty much all the guitar players and all of the bands, like from 24/7 Spies to Mother's Finest to Living Color to Body Count, we're all friends. We're all like family.
Yeah,
I love all of those guys. You know what I mean? We're all really good friends.
And of course, a band that was there from the beginning, man, maybe a little bit different genre, punk hardcore, man. The Great Bad Brains. You can't mention all black rock bands without mentioning the Bad Brains.
I have to. I've been playing guitar with HR for years. I was his guitar player in Human Rights Band for forever.
Yeah, arguably, and again, talking to musicians on here for the most part, man, but specifically people in the punk and hardcore world, you never hear anything but praise and accolades for the Bad Brains. Never heard a bad word about them, either album, live, anything, man. They are so respected and admired.
Yes, I love those guys. Me and Doc, we talk. We haven't talked as much as we used to talk, but I just talked to Doc like about a month ago. We just kind of reconnected. I talked to HR. HR calls me all the time.
Yeah.
That's how close we are, And Daryl, I love Daryl. I haven't talked to Daryl in a while either. The only one of the band I don't know is so much is Earl, but I know the other three guys really well,
Yeah. And now teaching, man, you bring up teaching, man, but that's something that I know from a firsthand account, because my mother's a school teacher, a little different kind of teaching, but teaching requires so much patience, man. It's not really, everyone's not cut out for it. How did you find out that, how did you end up in it and find out that you had a knack for it?
Well, I'm a very patient person, first of all, to start off. And my fiance, Lisa Marie, she was doing a lot of teaching. She got into that whole teaching world. And once she started telling people that she was working for, that I was willing to do some of that too. They were like, wow, he would do that? And I was like, we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it. And one of the companies I teach for is called MAP. It's Musicians at Play. We've been with them for a few years now. And the great staff. Another one's Asthma. And they're another place that we teach at. We do like after school programs. We do like regular school programs, because we also work with the Inglewood Unified School District.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of teaching in that area. And you know what? I want to say something before we go any further.
Please.
I really want to acknowledge all the people that's going through all the stuff they're going through in these fires right now.
Awful. Yeah.
Because it's really weird. I kind of feel weird right now that I'm doing an interview, all about me, and then at the same time, there's people's houses losing their houses.
I'm certainly glad you brought that up. And yeah, absolutely, man. The world's thoughts and prayers ought to be going out to those people for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, and you also have to think too how scary a fire really is, because you really do end up potentially losing stuff that you can't replace. I mean, you can buy new furniture, you can buy new stuff in, but when memories and important stuff, photographs, stuff that you can't retrieve again gets destroyed, I mean, that's hurtful.
Yes.
Yeah,
most definitely. Things you can never replace.
Yeah.
So I just want to acknowledge that, because I do care about that situation. I mean, my fiance is over here. She's really deep with it when it comes to that kind of thing, and it really hurts her to her heart. I wish we could do something more to help. We have a lot of clothes and things, and we're going to donate some clothes and some things, because we know people can use it out there.
Are you guys very close in proximity? Because I know that you're on West Coast time, man. Are you anywhere in the vicinity of where these fires are happening?
Well, we're in the Westchester area, so we're like safe. We've been safe, but we're like, there was at one point a few days ago where things were all around us. Yeah. And the only place we could go is to the beach, but it's never gotten close to us yet. So far, so good. Safe, so good. You know?
Yeah. I'm in upstate New York, so the only thing that I'm surrounded by is freaking snow. So yeah, and cold.
Something.
Yeah. And so now that you're back in Fishbone, man, like what's the dynamic like after going all these years, man, and now you re-enter something that you at one time were very familiar with, man? Has the dynamic changed?
Wow.
Obviously, I know there's been changes to the lineup.
Wow, that's a great question, man. Yeah. Because it's a totally different dynamic. And the thing about it is, I mean, there's only really so much I could say about it, you know, because it's mostly dealing with the original members. Yeah. You know, and a lot of people consider me like I'm in there a little bit after that, but it really, really, really concerns the original members. Yeah. You know, one of them, well, two of them I'm working with right now. Like I've never worked with Chris in a band before. So that dynamic, him and I, like we get along really well. Right. And I love Chris with all my heart, man. And all those guys, like all these guys. Let me put it like this. When I first got in Fishbone, Norwood himself told me, he said, you know, you're overqualified for this gig, right? And I was like, wow, I really appreciate that. Well, what he said to me, I feel like that about all the members in the current band right now. They're all overqualified to be in this band. They're like that. They have chops like that. I mean, I could go down and name each person and just let you know just how awesome. And the thing is, we just got off of this first tour with this particular lineup and my first tour in like 20 some years with the band. And every show was outstanding. Yeah. You know, like if people thought that we weren't up for the challenge, like all the talk and all the haters stuff ended with that tour, you know.
Is it like riding a bike? Like when you get back up there on stage with the guys, you know, does it all kind of come back?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny too, because it's like being that I played with the other members of Fishbone, and now I'm with the other members of Fishbone. Yeah, you know, with the exception of Angelo, which I have to take my hat off because Angelo is Fishbone soldier #1. I mean, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that's never quit the band.
A couple weeks back, I had Dirty Walt on, and I can certainly sense there's frustration there, man. And I would love to see the guys all back together again, man. But you know, what I mean, like, you know, you have to respect the fact that it's, you know, that they do have such a long history, and you know, as men and that have worked together for years, man. Like they will find a way to work it out if it's meant to be, I guess.
I'm sure they will. Yes, and that's the great thing, because like I've been talking to give you fans, all the fans, an example of this. I've been talking a lot with Kendall. Yeah. Kendall himself gave me his blessings for being in the band. Yeah. You know, and that itself means the world to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, like, I've been told by certain members of the band that they said, if anybody can bring Kendall back, it's you. It's you. Yeah. Because he loves you. He loves what you're doing. When we played in San Francisco, I have to tell you guys about this. When we played in San Francisco a couple weeks ago, he was at the show. And when we came off the stage, he had the biggest smile on his face. Yeah. And he said, wow, man, you guys are really representing our shit, man. Yeah. And I almost cried right there and there. Yeah. Because, I mean, if we're being approved by Kendall, I mean,
that's a good stamp of approval. Yeah, you know that's a good stamp of approval. Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything in my power to bring him back. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you all right now, I love Kendall with all my heart, and him and I together be unstoppable. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And now you got other. I'm not saying that in an egotistical way. Believe me, I'm not that kind of person. But I know him and I together. We've already sat down and played some stuff together. And let me tell you guys something. He is on the top of his game. Yeah. Musically. Yeah. He played me some music, some classical music there's just that guy is phenomenal. A phenomenal guitarist.
I have no doubt you'll get him back in there. And you've got a couple more people, a couple of them we mentioned, man, but a couple of the people that I just like to get your feelings on that you've got a chance to work with. Of course, Bonnie Pointer. Oh, Pointer Sisters.
awesome, outstanding experience working with Bonnie,
Yeah.
because I with her came along the Freddie Stone and Sly Stone, and I already
Yeah.
knew Eddie at that time, but working with Sly and Freddie, that was a dream come true for me.
Okay, that was
You
going to be
know?
who I was going to ask next. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like Sly is just one of those. I feel like he's criminally underrated. Like when people are talking
Oh,
about the all-time greatest entertainers, man, he's not often mentioned enough.
right. I'm right there with you. I feel the
Yeah.
same thing. I love Sly. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Sly Stone either.
How
You
about
know,
Doug Pinnick? Oh, how about Doug Pinnick? You've worked with him too from King's X.
Doug Pinnick is my big brother.
Yeah.
He lived with me and my fiance for 4 years when we were living in
Yeah.
Arcadia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Doug. I'm one of the first people that met him when he moved to LA, because he did a show at the country club in Reseda, where Sound Barrier, that used to be our stomping grounds.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
cool.
King's X, one of their first gigs was there, and that's when I met Doug. And
Yeah.
we were friends ever since. You know, Doug is my big brother, and Jimmy Hazel's my little brother.
And now a little bit departure from the rock world, though, man. But a hip hop guy that I think is absolutely incredible, that really spits like so much truth. Talib Kweli, you got a chance to work with him too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's amazing. He's another guy
Yes.
that's criminally underrated, man. That is not just spitting the same old, stuff that every other hip hop artist. You know, what I mean, he's really a thinking man's rapper.
Yes, that was a great experience too. I wish I was hoping I could get to work with him again, because that would have been a great experience, because I have a lot of relatives, like nieces and nephews, that are rappers and stuff.
Yeah.
And when they heard me doing that, they were like, wow, we didn't know you did that kind of music too. And I'm like, I do any kind of music that appeals to my ear. That's what I do. Whether it's hip hop, whether it's metal, whether it's reggae, whether it's funk, whether it's the blues, whether it's swing, whatever it is, if it catches my ear, I'm trying to get into it. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what about from a fan standpoint, man? Like, I obviously, like, you do your thing up on stage, man. But I'm sure in that same respect, as a fan, you've been to countless shows and concerts in your time, man. Is there anybody that stands out? Maybe one or two bands that you've gotten to see live, where, from a fan standpoint, really stuck with you? Just your shows that have blown you away.
Wow, that's a great question, because I have the answer to that question.
Okay.
Animals as Leaders.
Okay.
Tosin Abasi ripped my face off so bad. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And I respect and love his playing so much, and the fact that he's putting out these remarkable instrumental records, and his guitars are selling like hotcakes.
Yeah. And I imagine too,
out of this world.
I imagine you'd have good things to say about the Bad Brains too, because I've never heard anybody say that they're not.
Yes.
I imagine no one's ever said that the Bad Brains are not one of the greatest live bands
Love
ever.
love them with all my heart. I've seen them countless many times live as well. Is there anybody? One of my favorites.
Now, obviously, I've listed some pretty amazing people on here that I think a lot of people would be starstruck to meet. But is there anybody that I haven't mentioned that you got a chance in your travels, to rub elbows with, that really kind of resonated and really blew you away?
Yes, sir. You're just messing me up, because, man, I have the answers to all these questions.
I know.
Want me to tell you who it is?
And believe me, that's refreshing, because oftentimes people do got to let it marinate a little bit and sit there and think for a minute. Yes, who was it? Now, I wasn't sure who that was, but I'm guessing that's Prince.
Yes, sir.
My all-time favorite artist.
Same with me. I got to meet Prince when I was playing with Mother's Finest.
Yeah, my all-time favorite artist. My all-time favorite artist. And I recently had a guest on here, the drummer from the Fun Loving Criminals, who I think put it best when he said Prince was the 20th century Mozart.
I can agree.
Yeah,
and see, the thing is, like, a lot of people, I don't know, they underestimate Prince for some reason. And I love Prince all around, but I have to put this out there too. I'm a big, massive fan of all of his rock material.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love his ballads. I love his funk music. I love all of that. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, I'm a big Prince rock fan. I love when he picks up the guitar. I love his songs. I Like It There, Xana Lee. I mean, all his rock songs do it for me. The thing he did with his Third Eye Girl band just floored me. I loved it all.
I think the knock on him sometimes is that people will instantly harken back to those pop songs, and they don't really know what a musician he was. And then you see the stuff he did at like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, when he's just ripping ridiculous guitar solos. Yeah, truly amazing, man.
Yeah, because a lot of those people, I guess they just can't get past Purple Rain. I guess he annihilated them so heavily with Purple Rain
Yeah.
that they couldn't get past that.
Yeah, that was a
And I
tough one.
went way past that.
Yeah, and that was a tough death, man, because I didn't really see that one coming, man. That was a hard
Right.
one. That was a
Yeah, I
hard
didn't
one.
either. I'm
Yeah.
still not over it, really,
Yeah, that was a
to
hard
be
one,
honest.
man. I mean, as a diehard Prince fan, I kind of did know that he had problems with pain management and he put off having hip surgeries and then maybe he was on a slippery slope and a bit of a dark path, but I didn't think that we were going to lose him this fast.
Right. I didn't either.
Yeah, very tragic. Very tragic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he somebody that is he somebody that you think at some point you may have entered his circle and gotten a chance to work with him?
Well, I know he saw me play when I was with Mother's Finest. He definitely heard and saw me play. But the thing is, I would have just wished I could have sat down with him, guitar to guitar, and just jammed and just let him know how much I knew a lot of his music.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we would have had a ball because one of the things we have in common is his birthday was June 7th.
Yep.
My birthday's June 9th.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 1 year older than him.
Yeah.
So when we did see him in Germany, when he came and saw Mother's Finest and invited us to his birthday party, that was a brilliant birthday present for me as well, because my birthday was a couple days later. And Glenn Murdoch gave me a cassette recorder, and I recorded that whole thing. I have the whole thing on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cassette,
oh, that's awesome.
Cassettes. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm curious now, man, because so much has changed, especially since COVID, where you're seeing the release of music and how it's doled out to the public has changed so much. A lot of singles, a lot of EPs, people's attention spans aren't what they once were. In your mind, like what kind of world is it? When you're releasing music, do LPs still make sense? Is it back to a singles world or an EP world?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of all of that because like the fact that people aren't like trying to go out in public or now we have the internet, like, and at the same time, I think that your music now is more like a calling card.
Yeah.
Too, more than you just trying to make money off of your music. I mean, the thing is about your merch and playing live. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and that's with this Sound Barrier box set that's coming soon. Yeah, we hope to sell a few of them, but you know how it's going to go. It's going to end up on the internet, and then everybody's going to have it. So, but it's going to be something. It's going to be something for the Sound Barrier fans to look forward to because it's taken a while for Stanley and I to put it together. But once it does come out, it's going to be pretty intense because it's going to be video footage. It's going to be live performances, like outtakes from the studio, all kinds of stuff. And the weird thing is that I just realized too that there's somebody trying to put out our first album, the Total Control album. And I was in talks with this guy, and I guess it is whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's going to come out soon. I don't know. The Total Control album will be out. And I guess it'll be our stuff against his.
Okay. So you guys get a piece of this? Like, is this done like with you guys' cooperation or?
Well, it hit us by surprise. We didn't know anything about it, really.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the music business is. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm glad the music business is the way it is today.
Yeah.
Because now you can do whatever you want musically. You don't have to go through a third party.
Yes.
And that's the thing that makes it so hard. It made it so hard for us even back then was having the third party and arguing with the record company of you can't put your cover on the album. You can't put your face on the album because if you do, then we're going to put you in the R&B section and stupid stuff like that, Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, man. This is the exact stuff that Prince, not to bring him up again, but was warning against about contracts and like how he wanted to see artists be a little more free. I feel like this would have been a very prolific time for him. I think he would have enjoyed the state of the industry right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
he gave me a lot of good ideas on how to do it ourselves. You know what I mean?
Now, you were also doing some solo work, or did I read somewhere that you were working on solo stuff? Like, what's your solo stuff entail?
Yeah, well, what I was trying to do at first was just do stuff that harkened back to all the different styles of music that I do. And then I started thinking maybe I should bring in some guests too.
Yeah.
So I'm right at that crossroads right now, deciding whether I'm going to bring in some guests, because I have like I said, all of these guitar players now, all my friends.
Yeah.
You know, so I was thinking about maybe bringing in maybe some of those guys, or bringing in different bass players and drummers.
I was glad you brought up touring earlier. You brought up touring a few minutes ago and selling merchandise, man. Like, you're right, that's become such a big part of the business, man. But like, as you get older and you've been doing this for a long time, you know, it's such an important aspect. But is it something you still enjoy doing? Because I'm sure as you get older and you've been doing it for a long time, it might be harder to tear yourself away from home and from your creature comforts and the stuff that you like and go off on the road. You still like that part of the business?
Well, that's funny you say that. That's a great question, because I just got a chance to see in this last tour that we just did, which was December.
Yeah.
All of December. And wow, it was great.
Yeah.
I didn't have any problems. I think I can do it, because I think Fishbone's going to be touring a lot in 2025. So the thing for me was just building up those road chops again, which came pretty quick. You know what I mean? And playing with great musicians, it all helps, you know what I mean? And it's just like you said, it was like riding a bicycle, and then having my people there too, you know.
Is there a comfortable itinerary, man? Like, I hear like a certain like number sometimes from musicians on here that yes, they like to go on tour, but it starts to become a little bit of a strain on them if it goes past X amount. You know what I mean? Like, I typically hear like, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, so somewhere in there seems manageable.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about this, everybody that's in this lineup, we know that we got to do some touring to just show people that this version of Fishbone is just as legit as any other version of Fishbone that there ever was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're all prepared to do what we got to do to make that happen.
And correct me for not knowing this or having this in front of me, man, but like when was the last official Fishbone album release?
Whoa, that's a good question. Now that I don't know, because I wasn't keeping track when I wasn't in the band or part of it. So all I can tell you is the new record is going to be out very soon. I can't tell you the date. I don't know what the exact date is yet, but it's all the guitar parts are done. Like all of our parts are done. I think the last thing they were doing was adding a couple more horn parts here and there, a couple more vocal parts here and there, and the rest of it's done.
And you were in on the whole creation. And like, were you part of this whole album? I mean, like, were you back in time to be the guitarist on this album?
That's intense that you're saying that. Well, when I got back, all the songs were done. They were all written and all done. So what they had me do was go up to Oakland, where they're recording the album at Hyde Street Studios in Oakland or in San Francisco, and just add guitar to all the stuff that was already laid down. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I think I'm on pretty much every song. I think there's 16 songs. I think I'm on every song except for maybe one song.
Okay.
But I went there and did it all in like a week.
Okay. So like your footprint is all over this album, then.
Pretty much, yeah.
It is. Yeah. And like Fishbone is certainly like a band too, man, that like has earned its reputation as being a pretty formidable live band.
Yes, sir. And the cool thing is this record. See, the thing that makes this record so interesting, I'm going to go back to that for a second before we go to the live thing.
Yeah.
Is that Fishbone in their earlier records let people know that they're going to come from a lot of directions.
Definitely.
So this record is in some directions that fans never heard them do before.
Okay.
And that's the thing that's going to make this record really stand apart from any other Fishbone record that they've ever done, because all the places that they wanted to go in the past, they weren't able to because certain people in the band wouldn't let them.
Okay.
So now that they have the freedom to go anywhere they want to go, they're going there.
I'm glad to hear that. because it often is hard, man, to not only, I mean, it's not hard to find new music. Certainly the streaming platforms, there's an influx of that all the time, but finding stuff that's new, eclectic, and challenges the listener is not always easy to find. And like, I feel like Fishbone has consistently always done that, pushing boundaries, And
they're really doing it on this record. And the cool thing is all the Fishbone elements are there.
Yeah.
They're still there, but they're just going to some other territory where people didn't think they would ever hear them go.
Yeah. Now
And
you were
I'm
going to
so
bring up.
proud of him.
Now you were going to talk about like live or whatever, man. Like obviously, man, like when you're out live with Fishbone, man, because of the high intensity, because of the energy level, man. When you get back in the band, how much of it is about dusting off your chops? Because obviously, when you're on stage with these guys, you really have to bring, not only the playing, but a certain energy and a certain aura.
Yes. And it's all there. It's coming back. It came back like almost like that,
Yeah.
So it's just it can only get better from this first tour,
Yeah. Now, I always have a couple subjective questions, man, that I like to thread in here. I already asked you the one about like gigs that you've gotten to see. If you were able to put together the artists that mean the most to you and put together your Mount Rushmore, man, your top 4 artists that just mean the world to you.
Wow, that's a great one. Well, a couple of them I already named. Jimi Hendrix would have to be one of them.
He's on there. Yep.
Eddie Hazel's another one.
Yep.
Sly Stone's another one.
And does Prince make it on the Mount Rushmore?
Yep, I'd have to put him up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing interviews with you. You're decisive on all the answers. You know what I mean? There's very little thought behind it, man. You seem to really know like what you love musically, man, and what means the world to you, and you're very consistent with it, And
see, and the thing is, that's the tip of the iceberg, though, because there's so many unknown guitar players, for example, that I love that people probably don't even know their names. If I said who they were, they wouldn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those people too,
What did you think about like obviously like we've seen certain musical trends or like movements happen over the years, man. Like we saw like a lot of glam and that kind of stuff in the 80s, man. We saw grunge in the 90s or whatever. Like what's like a movement or like a specific sound or whatever that happened that you really liked? Like were you a fan of like the 90s grunge bands, like when that kind of burst on the scene?
Yeah. I didn't think that a lot of that stuff, like how a lot of people said it killed rock and all that and killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the progression that music always goes through when it's changing. You know what I mean? So I couldn't look at it like that because every style brings something to the table that changes music,
Yeah.
So I can't be mad at that at all.
And now what about new acts? Like what's your listening trends like? Like for instance, if you're around the house, you're puttering around the house and you've got music on in the background, like do you tend to fall back on stuff that you've always loved, or are you able to go on and find like new stuff that excites you?
I do both. Both.
Yeah.
I have my go-tos that I have to listen to, like Buckethead, for example. He's a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
And I love listening to his music.
Yeah. Is there a new band that you
Go ahead.
Is there a new band that you stumbled across like recently, man, that has really resonated with you? Anything that would be kind of considered new?
Not as new as Animals.
Okay. Okay.
But that's the newest thing that's caught my ear. That every record I'm like there, waiting for the new development, because that guy's always coming up with new techniques of playing guitar.
Cutting edge. Yeah.
So that keeps my interest,
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's newer things. I'm trying to keep my ears open for things newer than that too, because I mean, I'm sure there's going to be something soon. Well, actually, what's his name? Matthias Macluso. I've been listening to him as well.
Okay.
Because I mean, he's just phenomenal player without using a pick. Is just phenomenal.
And now, what's your own creative process like? Like when you're going to write a song or you're going to create music, what typically comes first for you? You know what I mean? Like, do you usually get an opening line, a title? Does a riff come to you first? Like, what? How does the process creatively work for you?
Well, it's always different for the most part. I mean, sometimes it's a riff, sometimes it's a title, sometimes it's a concept, and then the concept turns into some music. To try to fit the concept. So it's always different, but it's always fun because it always yields a really cool result.
Yeah.
So I can't complain,
And so for people that might not know, man, like is there a projected release date for the new Fishbone album?
Well, I would say probably in the next few months, for sure.
Next couple of months. Okay.
Yeah, because this, like I said, it's done. The only thing I know, they haven't mixed it yet.
Okay.
But the songs are done.
And what do you
some great ones?
And what do you consider, or I mean, like, what do you foresee, I should say, 2025 being? Are you going to be out playing live a lot with Fishbone? Is that where the bulk of your time will go this year?
Yeah, most of the because it'll be like a world tour to support that album.
Yeah.
So it'll be that, and then hopefully too, I'll be doing some touring in between that stuff with Tony Newton.
Okay.
He's trying to put together some things for us as well. And at the same time trying to put that that LSD project together, because that's gonna be something.
Yeah. And
that's all I can say about that.
And are you aware of any possible tour packages or anybody that Fishbone will be paired up with and going out on the road with, or has that not yet been established?
Well, there's a little bit of stuff here and there, but for now, I just got, yeah. You know, I can keep you posted though, for sure.
Please do. Yeah, absolutely. Are there parts of the world that you're looking forward or like where you feel like Fishbone is really well received? You know what I mean? Like, are there parts in Europe? Are there places where you've toured in the past where you remember it being a phenomenal reception?
That's a good question, because like everywhere, this is the cool thing I always admired about Fishbone too. Everywhere that we played was great. The crowds were great.
Yeah.
So there's not one place in particular. I mean, I used to love playing in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. I loved when we played the Fuji Rock Festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was just insane.
Yeah, European audiences, man, like, you know, of course I'm an American or whatever, man, but European audiences though, man, you know, they just seem to get the music and they seem to get it in a different way, you know?
Yes.
I mean, good on them, you know, good on them that they do, man, because like their festivals seem to go over without a hitch over there, and it seems like they really just have, you know, I hate to cut down our American audiences, man, but they really seem to have much more of a reverence and a respect for what artists do over there.
Right. And they put together combinations of bands that they just don't do here.
Yeah.
But we do. There's a lot of great places in America too that we play that I love. The things that we just did here was great.
Yeah.
All from Portland. We did, you know, in Canada, Victoria. There's great places. They were all, and the thing that was really great was there was a lot of fans that would come up to me and say, "We're so happy that you're back in the band."
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
I want to thank everybody for that, because they make me feel like I never left, you know?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Now I typically leave this one towards the end, but again, I think you're going to definitively answer this again. But if I were to take you, TRACEY, drop you on a desert island and you can only take one album, what would be the desert island album?
Oh, wow, that's a heavy one there. That's always been a rough one for me.
Yeah.
Because it would have to be a Jimi Hendrix album or Eddie Hazel's Game, Dames, and Guitar Things record, you know?
Oh, okay. I'll let you take them both. Fuck it.
That would be what I would take, you know?
And so where's the best place to keep tapped in, man? Obviously Fishbone has got its own website, but like other things that you're doing, man, if people want to tap in and find out what's going on, man, where's the best place to follow what TRACEY's doing?
Well, I would say, my Facebook pages, I'm working on another page that'll be coming out soon, but right now just Spacey T Facebook page, Spacey T Rocks group page, and then my band with my fiance, Praise the Dead.
Okay.
You know, or Sound Barrier, the Red and Black Attack is another one.
Just make sure when you're creating music with your wife, I know this from being married for 26 years, man. Happy wife, happy life. You know?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Just remember, man, you're not wearing the pants.
Right. Oh, never with her. She's the boss for sure.
Spoken like a man that's been married for a while.
Yeah, and she deserves to be the boss. See, she backs it up.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I'm glad we got a chance to do this, man. Definitely stay in touch. Definitely stay in touch, man. When you got something cooking, I'd love to have you back on again, man.
For sure, we will do that.
Yeah. It was an honor, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good talking to you, man.
Thank you for having me.
We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Later. There he goes, folks. TRACEY Singleton, Spacey T, guitar player extraordinaire for the always amazing and eclectic and energetic Fishbone. And of course, obviously, I laid out an amazing resume of other people. Of course, he founded the band Sound Barrier, which I made mention in there, was the first all-black metal band signed to a major label, MCA Records. He has also worked with the great Eddie Hazel, fucking from punk excuse me, Parliament Funkadelic. That's the edibles talking. The great Bonnie Pointer from the Pointer Sisters, Sly Stone, HR from the Bad Brains, Doug Pinnick, Talib Kweli. That was just to mention a few, man. An amazing guitar player, an amazing talent, man. And now back in Fishbone after a long hiatus from the band. And new Fishbone music will be out in 2025. And sounds like he's got another cool project cooking. LSD is what he's calling it right now, as he alluded to. So stay tapped in for what might be cooking there. Great guy to talk to, man. Really appreciate him doing it. Thank you, Tracey. Spacey T, Singleton, guitar player for Fishbone, amongst other things. Hope you guys dug that episode, man. I'm going to give myself a look one more time. God damn, it hurts to look this good, folks. I'm glad you can't feel my pain. That being said, make sure to like and follow PodScum on Facebook, and make sure to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to stay tapped into the best conversations anywhere on the planet by yours truly, Reckless Rexx Ruger, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., which the hard science will prove this year in 2025 that you are looking at the spawn of a rock star, if it isn't already evident beyond belief that you were looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, Mr. Wop Boppa Loo Boppa Wop, bam, bam, shazam, hot damn, look like the man, sound like the man, chances are I've got the DNA of the man. But again, the proof will be in the pudding. My lawyers have assured me, man, we're going to get this done and find out once and for all that I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. And it's been quite a battle, folks. But, hey, I mean, come on. You should be able to take one look, and it should be pretty undeniable. You look at me and you think, rock star. Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won. That's the correct answer, folks. Definitely stay tapped in. And a huge thank you once again to Tracey Singleton, man, for coming on here, man. Super amazing interview. Hope you guys dug it. And like I always say when I end these things, it might be a brand new year, 2025, but it is the same old saying, and that is, remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.